Hello dear students, welcome one more time to my class, and today we are going to teach our third main important lecture on the topic of how to do a research, right? Sorry for this, I guess some technical misunderstanding. Anyway, today we are actually starting how to do research, the structure, how it follows. Previous classes we made an introduction, what is research world and the research ethics, and today's we're going to focus on the main contents that's called a structure, how to write a research, and again we will be focusing a little bit about the plagiarism and the formatting issues. Okay, this time we will be focusing these cases from a general perspective, while in our next class, step by step, I'll be teaching you what is actually how to write an introduction, how to write a literature review, and so on. But while today's class we will be giving a general information about the in general research structure. All right, so welcome to the, again one more time, the research world is what is research. In shortly, Albert Einstein said that the research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody else has thought. So you might have think even for the same topic, so many scholars have done research, because you see this problem as a problem like others, but you might be thinking, you might be giving a different solution, different than others. So that's why so many scholars do research for the same topic again and again after the years, by the years. It's very common in research because time by time the topic features will change. It gives us the new avenues, new, we can say, challenges to do research, and that's what today we are going to discuss. And you are one more time welcome to this world. All right, well, in general, when actually originally the research started, how to do research, to make analysis, empirical research for the first time was developed by Dutch psychologist by Professor Groth in 1940s. We can say that this empirical research stages, and the initial sample of doing research was developed in 1915s, roughly we can say. In 1916s, research ethics developed in the field of the medical research, where we shouldn't harm the human, we shouldn't harm the animal. Such kind of cases developed step by step, those cases. And 2000s, doing research in a single countries increased in the case of America, in the case of China, in the case of developed countries. 2021, a lot of Uzbek scholars also started to do research in the Uzbek Scientist Society as well. In general, what is the structure of the research? That is a clear, we can say, basic, very famous structure for any kind of research globally. Starts from abstract, definitely, the introduction section, literature review, methodology, results, discussion together, results and discussion, and the conclusion section together, definitely with references. This, we can see, the structure applies for any types of the research in the field of social science, and even in the globally, for the case of the bachelor thesis, master thesis is also followed by this structure. What I mean, what you are learning nowadays, if you are the bachelor degree students, definitely this will be useful for you when you are conducting your master degree. All right, if you are a master degree students, it will be useful for you to write your thesis, master thesis, and definitely for you in the future to do a PhD. The same applies for the same structure. So the structure is fixed globally, is applicable. During our next lectures, we will be discussing how to write an abstract, how to write an introduction, what to include, what to exclude, and all those main, we can say, the life hacks. Can I say in research life hacks? Because life research also has its own tricks, its own, we can say, guidelines, its own some ways to make it, to write from difficult perspective to more easier, clear, and comprehensive perspective. Okay, so IMRAD. I guess a lot of students knows what is IMRAD. If you don't know, let me again share the information with you. IMRAD is the international standard follows every research. That is international standard. That's not me who actually developed it. That's internationally accepted standards by global researchers, that every article has to follow this standard. Okay, this is an abbreviation, definitely. You might have seen, so when you are actually submitting your paper to any kind of journal, the journal editorial board will always ask, your paper has to follow IMRAD structure. And then you will say, okay, what is IMRAD structure? It's actually I stands for introduction, M stands for the methods, R stands for the results, and D is for discussion. So you can see from here how much introduction, methodology, result, and discussion section is important in any kind of research. It's like you are making a food, you're cooking any kind of meal, that initially you have to fry, then you have to add, then you have to boil, then you have to steam, right? It has its own certain stages. If you remember, in the first hour class we said research is systematic process. Systematic process means it has several steps and it has to follow its own steps. You cannot skip any kind of step, or you cannot add any extra step. So these steps follow each other, as it is mentioned in this IMRAD diagram. You can see how they are connected each other. You can't miss any of them. You cannot say, oh, I don't like this, let me just skip it, or let me just omit it. No, it is international standard and you need to follow it if you want your article to be recognized by international standard. And definitely in the future you submit the article to any kind of scientific journal. Well, let's go on with the brief explanation of each of those, we can say, the sections. Abstract is the introduces the reader the aim of the study, and follows by the introduction, gives the overall purpose, define the research questions, right? The problem definitely will be defined, and definitely following with the aim of the study. Literature review, which is not mentioned the IMRAD style, because in mainly literature review is included in introduction, but we will be looking at a separate section. Literature review summarizes what conclusions have been researched in a research field, so that you can show there is a research gap. That's why I want to do research in this field. Methodology, it is, we can say, the receipt of our research. Receipt, you know how the receipt, how to make a food, right? So exactly here also follows how to do, what kind of techniques you're going to use, what kind of data set you're collecting, from where you're collecting, whether it is qualitative research or whether it is quantitative, and so on. Results, that where you present your findings, the most precious, most sweetest part of any research, and concluding, giving some recommendations, and just in general finishing, like summing up, finally coming to finish and letting to the reader what you have achieved, whether you have achieved your aim or not. So this is the conclusion section, the brief introduction in the structure. How to write. Before writing any type of the research, we do have a certain questions I ask from our students. After the class, you can take a screenshot photo of this part and try to answer to all the questions. This is how you can follow the how to write, but next class I will be giving more brief information. These are the general concept on the how to write those sections. Plagiarism, I'm gonna just stop one more time again this section, because plagiarism is a crime. I repeat again, plagiarism is, in scientific world, we researchers consider it as a crime. What is plagiarism? Is act of presenting another work or idea as your own. This is a crime. You are stealing someone's work, or you're stealing someone's idea. Even idea is also considered, you are stealing it. It's a crime. So please avoid plagiarism. Be solely with yourself. Do research based on other studies. Find the research gap and create your own one. Be original. Be unique, and don't plagiarize. Instead, you can paraphrase. Yeah. Well, Formatting terms, it follows APA format. All of your references, all of your writing style has to follow the APA format. For more information, what is your APA style, you can watch some YouTube videos. Databases, we mainly read the researches from Web of Science and Scopus database journals, which is globally recognized and definitely recommended by the scholars in the world. APA format is mainly clear here, that you can take a screenshot and follow your paper based on this formatting. Literature review template as well. And today's lecture is over. I tried to keep it very short and clear, straightforward. If you have further questions, we can discuss during our class. Thank you so much. See you next time.